This is an Alabama rig. Doesn't look like much, right? Maybe like a 5th grade science fair project gone wrong? But adorn the rig with 5 of your favorite swim baits and bass fishing magic happens. Don't believe it? Consider that 8 of the top 10 pros in the FLW Tour Open on Lake Guntersville are using the Alabama rig. And here's what they're saying about this new crazy bass catching contraption.
I've had another great day on Lake Guntersville today. I don't have as big a bag as I've been catching, but I still got a real good quality bag. But really what's neat is this new bait that I'm throwing, this new rig I'm throwing anyway, and with this Alabama rig. Because it's kind of like back in 1979, my first BASS victory. I was throwing a buzzbait, and that was back when a buzzbait was kind of a newish type bait, and people didn't really. It'd been around a couple of years, but people really didn't know how often you could use the bait, and under what circumstances and stuff. And so I was throwing it in like 52-degree water and won a tournament with it in the early spring. But now, buzzbait's still a good bait, but they've seen so many of them that it's just not a tournament winner bait anymore, hardly. And when something like this Alabama rig comes along, fish haven't seen it. It's a new look. It's a multi-bait look, and it's so awesome the way it looks like a school of shad with those swim baits or whatever you're throwing on it, grubs or whatever you decide to throw on it. They react to it and they bite it, and sometimes you catch 2 or 3 at a time, and that's going to last for a while. But they'll get used to it just like they'll get used to all kinds of baits. The really most impressive thing about this Alabama rig to me is it's answered a very frustrating dilemma for a lot of offshore structure fishermen, and that's suspended fish. Suspended fish are very, very, very hard to catch, and in the fall they really get suspended and they get up off the bottom, and most of the baits that we have, the way we present them, it's very hard to catch them. But with this bait right here, you can count it down, and you can fish multiple depths. Every cast you can fish a different depth, and until you zero in on them. Now, see, I had them zeroed in at a certain count during the week, and today I had to change that count by 3 or 4. So I may have to go less count or more count. But you can catch suspended fish with it, and that's really, I think, the dominating thing about it right now.
It looked like earlier in the week you were kind of throwing more towards up the riprap. I know it was deeper, but today it looked like you moved out on the columns.
I had to relocate them today.
Okay.
They were not on the columns, but they were on the edge of that drop, and they had pulled. Both the first day they were right up near the bank because of all the wind, and then the second day they moved right out on top of the ridge that's out there, which is probably 17 or 18 feet deep. But that today they pulled off the side of the ridge, and it took me about 30 minutes to find them. I was almost ready to leave, and I was fortunate enough to get 3 there. But that was a little frustrating because I'd been catching 20 pounds there pretty easy, and so I only got 3 there today, and I think my co-angler got 2. But I feel good. I'm still going to have a 2-digit lead, I think, and Lord's blessed me every day, and I'm just hoping He'll bless me again tomorrow. I think He will.
On that Alabama rig, are they coming in flurries, like you go long periods of time without a bite and all of a sudden it's just boom, 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 or you're just getting a bite an hour? I mean,
well, it's both. I'm fishing the ledge, and there's a few stumps and there's creek channel, and I actually today was riding right down the ledge floating and looked down, and right on the break there was a fish. I told my co-angler, there's a fish right here on the stump. And I just let the wind blow me back instead of going parallel. I just let it blow me back, and I drug that thing. It wasn't 30 seconds. I had a 5.5 pounder in the boat, right? And it was just blessed today. I mean, what are you gonna say? I can't say anything else, but I'm just asking for 15 or 16 pounds a day, and I'm not asking for anything else from the Lord, and it's just getting better every day. So I don't know what to say about it, Rob.
It looks like on your Alabama rig you have a little different something. Is that by design? Like some guys, I've already noticed, some guys like all the same. Some guys like a little different. A grub, a swim bait, kind of the smorgasbord, so to speak. It looked like you're more of the smorgasbord on your rig. You got a lot of different stuff going on there.
Well, I really like all the baits to be the same, because when you see a shad swimming, you don't see a big one and a little one. So they're all the same, with the exception of the middle bait is about the same size, but it's tweaked a little bit with a little homemade design. So that's all I want to say today.
That's fine.
And I gave my co-angler the baits because he stopped getting bit, and he said, and I said, yeah, use my trailers, use my baits.
Right.
So I give him some, and he puts them on, and he still never got bit. And he thinks that little thing in the middle there is that's what he thinks. But I don't know. I don't know, Rob.
Right.
Sometimes it's your day, and sometimes it's not. So.
Caught 2 good fish, or not good fish, but 2 keepers pretty quick on the spoon on my primary spot. Then nothing. And then I went to my shallow docks and ended up catching a 5.
Okay.
So I had three keepers and fished all my stuff again at least once or twice and nothing. And so last hour and a half I punted, and I went up to another set of docks and fished them and nothing. And then I had a spot where they had been schooling in practice. So I said, heck, let's go throw it.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and it wasn't 30 feet. I hooked up a double and got them in the boat, and one of them was a decent fish. And then the no boater catches one, and then I think I caught another one, and he catches another one, and I turned around, I lost a big one. And then finished my limit, and it's time to go.
So even though you were kind of able to avoid the Alabama rig most of the week, you had to go to it today. And
because, well, like I said, I'd been catching keepers on it.
Yeah.
And so you don't want a 0
right
on Saturday.
Right. Okay.
So I fell back on it, and it did what it needed to do, hopefully. I mean, it's going to be close, but it might have kept me in the top 10.
Well, the Alabama rig it's a unique bait, and this time of year in the fall time of year on these lakes and stuff like this, the fish are feeding on shad, and you get back there and there's so many shad back in these pockets, and you're competing with the shad, and this bait, you're throwing 5 swim baits on it, so it's just so unique that, I mean, they just bite it. I don't know why. It's words can't explain what's going. I mean, I've thrown it from the time I've started fishing this tournament till the time I come in today. So I've thrown it. I haven't thrown but 1 rod in 3 days, and I mean, I probably caught 70 or 80 bass on it, and it's, in my opinion, right now, it's whipping the shad's butt. I mean, they eat that better than they do a live shad right now. It's that good.
It looked like the one you had, when I'm kind of trying to put together here, some guys like all of them are the exact same. Some guys are changing them up a little bit. I mean, where are you on? You've experimented for 4 days now. I mean, what are you finding out?
What I've come to find out is that they like 4 little ones around the outside and 1 big one in the middle.
Okay.
And for some reason, the little bit bigger fish will key in on that bigger one in the middle. It's like there's the little ones, and then they see that one and they grab out. So I think the little swim baits around the outside attract them, but the big one catches their eye, and that's the one they eat. And it's either been the one in the middle or the bottom one every time I've hooked one.
Also, it looks to me like, and this is just after watching 4 or 5 guys catch fish on one, they seem to bite right at the end of the cast when you're coming up.
Yeah.
Are you getting a lot
No,
of that?
a lot of times I'm getting a lot of them that, I mean, as soon as it hits the water, about 2 or 3 cranks in, one will smoke it.
Okay.
And I think the reason that is I'm fishing a little bit shallower probably than everybody else, I think. Later in the day, in the mornings I'm having to throw it, let it kind of get down on the bottom and kind of crawl it through there because the fish are on the bottom. And then later in the day they're moving up shallower, getting on the edge of that grass and stuff. And a lot of times you'll throw it over, as soon as it hits the water, and 1 crank, one will have it. And I just today, I mean, I did pretty good today, but just never got a 5 or 6 pound bite. And that's what you need here, when you got a bunch of 3 3¼
It sounds like you're now a believer in the Alabama rig.
Oh, it's magic. It's so awesome. I've been doing this a long time, Rob, and that thing it draws big strikes out of water that you couldn't get with any other bait in your box. I fished today. I went to the same area I've been fishing, and that I fished the first day. I caught 11 pounds in there the first day, and I was throwing a single hollow belly like we always did before, and I had 11 pounds. I went there today with the Alabama rig, and I had 5 of those hollow bellies on, and we had, between me and my partner, we had 5 over 4 pounds, and we lost a couple big ones, and it's all the bait. It's all the bait, because I fished that fished it in practice, and the first day of the tournament, with everything in my box, they wouldn't. I mean, you could get some fish on a hollow belly, but when you throw the Alabama rig, like a herd of hollow bellies, the big ones bite it, and it won't. It's just it's like magic. I mean, it's just amazing. But I think my take on that is that it's just these fish get so much pressure in this lake. They've all been caught on other different baits, and just something they've never seen before. It's kind of like, it reminds me totally of when the hollow bellies for swim baits first came out in 2007. And I was like the first guy to fish those in North Carolina and Arkansas, and I won Angler of the Year. And then this is like another reintroduction of that same situation where it's just like a school of swim baits now. It's just awesome. I had so much fun. I don't even have a chance to win this tournament, but I'm just praying I can go fishing tomorrow just because I just want to go throw that Alabama rig. I mean, it's awesome to fish. I mean,